Hello, I'm Venus O'Hara and welcome to another video. Day 16 of my 30-day challenge. 30 videos in July. Whew, I forgot the month there. Anyway, it's so hot here in Barcelona, just back from Ireland and Manchester and Edinburgh. And today I wanted to talk about OnlyFans because someone asked me if I'd ever consider doing an OnlyFans. I already talked about this actually maybe 2 years ago, but I'm happy to discuss this topic again. Well, if you may not know that I used to be an erotic model and a fetish model, that's actually how I started my blogging journey. And my blogging journey started 14 years ago on the 18th of July. So I'm coming up to my anniversary this week. So it's a very special time. And it all started because I used to work in a printer. I started an export department here in Barcelona. I was printing erotic books. And on my top shelf here, I have all the erotic books that were my orders. It was so much fun. And it all started because I was starting this export department in a printer, and I'm not a very technical person. I have no interest for technical details. And I basically had to go to book fairs in Paris and London and try and get book publishers to print their books in Spain. And we're talking about high quality hardback, coffee table books, art books, things which were printing, let's say, a print run of less than 5,000 copies. Any more than that would usually go to China. But anyway, I printed out a business directory from Yahoo business directory, and I printed out a list of all the publishers in London, and out of the page jumps erotic, fetish, and I was like, oh, this is juicy. So I went to London in 2004, and I spent a whole week meeting people who used to print erotic books and fetish magazines and sex magazines, and I just found the experience to be very eye-opening, and I've always been interested in sexuality, and I really loved being in meetings and the matter-of-factness that people had, this style of speaking about sex, which was just so normal and natural. And I really was attracted to that because it was kind of like we're talking about sexual things, but we're not getting aroused. And I really love that because I just think sex is a normal part of life. Yeah, so that really inspired me. And I remember writing to one of my clients, asking them if they were looking for an erotic model, and they said yes. So I started to do erotic modeling with one of my clients in London, and it was an amazing experience because until that point, I was always interested in fine art. I used to paint, I used to draw, and I was always interested in the female nude, the Venus, throughout history. And I was always the spectator of the Venus, and I had a Venusian appreciation because when I grew up in the 90s, everyone fancied Pamela Anderson, and I was like looking physically very different. I've got no makeup on today, I'm sweating, and I look very different. But when I found Renaissance art and the Pre-Raphaelites, these redheads with white skin and very curvy bodies, I felt I identified with that physique, and I thought, wow, I was born a few centuries too late, but it just felt that my physique was considered beautiful by someone, because I didn't really feel very beautiful as a teenager, like many people don't. So I was always observing the Venus, but then I became the actual muse, and I was being observed, which was a big shift for me. And because of my art background, I wasn't just posing and doing what people were telling me to do. I was the art director because I knew exactly how I wanted to be seen and how I wanted myself and my body to be portrayed. And I think sometimes when I've spoken about this or shown photos of myself to people, they often get very shocked by nudity. I didn't do full nudity. I did artistic nudes, but I was more interested in fetish photography that was non-explicit, non-nude. Oops. Okay, that was the story message there. I'm going to meet my friend in a minute. Because I think it has a more kind of sapiosexual energy. It's engaging with the spectator in a different way. It's not about what you see, it's about what you imagine. And that's what was really interesting for me. I wanted to create images that were going to create a narrative in the spectator's mind. So yeah, it was a more interactive approach. Even, for example, a photo of me with a blindfold and my mouth open, you can have a lot of ideas about what's going on in that photo, what's going on in the parts of the photo that you don't see, even though it's not explicit at all. So that was something that I was very, very interested in. Also, I like to see myself in that way. And I'm really interested in the fetish brain, which is all about attention to detail. It's not about the obvious, the tits, ass, and penetration, which is great, but it's about those finer details that often get ignored, and those are the details that I find very alluring. So I wanted to kind of get into this dynamic with the spectator through my own imagery. So that I actually started doing lots of fetish photos. And then in Barcelona, I started to do lots of collaborations with photographers here. We did exchanges. So I got lots of photos, and that was what encouraged me to start my website in the first place. It was always a bit of a crazy dream, a kind of crazy artistic side hustle. I never imagined that it would become like my job, creating a blog. But I had a lot of, when I was working in real estate, I had a lot of clients because I went from printing to real estate. And when I was in real estate, I met a lot of people who had online businesses, and they told me a lot about how these things worked, and I was fascinated by that. So my original idea was to have a fetish website and have a members area. I've got 6 minutes got into what I'm talking about here, the OnlyFans. So I actually do have a members area on my website, which is behind a paywall. And that's where I keep all of my erotic photos, even from my very first session in 2005, such a long time ago now, 18 years ago, oh my God. And what is different about my photos compared to other photos is that there is no retouching, no editing. And there's a lot of fetishism, not so much explicitness, and there's no, I'm the only person in there, there's nothing graphic. And yeah, so it's very artistic, but also kind of provocative as well. So I'm very, very proud of these pictures. And a lot of them I've taken myself as well. And I haven't updated this for a long, long time, but it's very interesting because I was doing erotic photos for many years, and all of my articles were accompanied by images that I had taken myself or I had supplied to my editors in magazines and books, etc. And I went to live in a penthouse apartment in 2017, and it was so cold. I was cold all the time because of very bad insulation. And that's when I decided to stop doing erotic photos, just because of the cold, because it was really uncomfortable. And at that time, I haven't updated my website, the members area, for 6 years. However, I'm making way more money on it now, which is interesting because I think that the more clothed work I do, and that the more I disassociate myself from being an erotic model, the more alluring and mysterious and intriguing that work is. And that's what it's proving to be. So yeah, it's doing better and better and better. So I don't like nothing against OnlyFans, but that's not my business model. I prefer to have my members area as a kind of like a little thing on the sidebar on my website, venusohara.org, which is there for those who want to find it. And I'm not trying to really promote it that much, to be honest. I'd rather people find out what I do and then discover that part. And if they're interested in my imagery, then they would go down that route. And I'm going to increase the prices soon, though. So that's something that I have on the side. And also what I've seen from people who do OnlyFans, it's like they're making content saying, hey, new set available, blah, blah, blah. Whereas I don't do any of that. And I don't really want to get into those dynamics with my following either. And it's very interesting as well, because at the very beginning of my journey as a blogger, sex blogger, erotic model, fetish model, I thought that the male audience would be my main audience. And to some extent, I still have a lot of male followers, and I'm very grateful for those who follow me. However, when I shifted to focusing on female pleasure and sex toys and female orgasm, that just worked out so much better for me. It was just so much better, more profitable for my business. It was just a really good shift. But I'm glad I didn't have any kind of preconceived ideas or fixed ideas about the direction of my blog. I just kind of started one way, and then other opportunities came to me, and that kind of those opportunities guided me into different avenues. So that's it. So I do have a members area. I don't update it. I do have a couple of thousand photos on it, so it would take a couple of hours to go through them all, actually. And now they are very old, these photos, but there's no retouching on them. And yeah, there's a lot of different physical changes. Like when I used to straighten my hair was shorter. Yeah, there's lingerie, there's feet, there's tickling, there's artistic nudes, and yeah, so that's it. So if you're interested in that, go to venusohara.org and check it out. But I will not be doing OnlyFans at any time soon. I might consider updating my members area, because I do have a lot of folders on my hard drive that haven't, or of pictures that haven't been uploaded. We're talking really old pictures, but more recently I've started getting into erotic selfies again, and I really enjoy the process of it. And it's not a case of me getting older and thinking I can't do erotic photos anymore, because people might assume that it's only something you can do when you're younger, but I completely disagree with that. I think erotica and sexuality and sensuality is something that is present throughout our whole lives, and also as you get older there's less competition. Yeah, so I might get back into it, if I might get organised enough to actually create a set and then get them on there and have my first set of erotic photos in 6-7 years. So I might do that, but I'm slowly getting back into it, because now my apartment is not freezing. Well, now it's so hot, but in general I'm not uncomfortable with the temperature. So yeah, so let's see what happens in the future. But yeah, so and I think as I was going to talk about in the beginning, some people are very shocked by when you use your body to take intimate photos, explicit photos, not explicit, but kind of semi-nude photos. But I think people project what they think it means. I mean, for me, a body is not. I'm not sharing. I don't feel as though I'm sharing something intimate if I share a topless picture on my members area, because that's not my soul. It's just a body. It's a vessel, and I like to objectify myself artistically. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, as long as it's consensual and done with desire and with the right intention. I'm not using my body for attention. I'm just using it because it's a celebration, and also it's a body positivity message as well. I think it's important to be able to share imagery that's not retouched, and also I have not had any no Botox, no aesthetic operations or anything like that. So I think that's something that is very positive in the end, because there's so much pressure now to have plastic surgery. Even people are doing it younger and younger, on the face, on the body. Especially if you watch TV. I don't have a TV, but if you're seeing all these kind of reality stars and what people are doing to themselves physically, that can kind of really influence you, as well as to thinking about your own relationship with your body, and also social media, all these filters, etc. But I think I want to celebrate something that's natural and healthy as well. So I'm not like super skinny, I'm not super sporty, and I am all natural, but I can still you don't have to be perfect to get a good picture. And that's something that I really wanted to convey with my photography. Yeah, so just speaking about that makes me inspired to get back into it. So let's see what happens. Voila, so no to OnlyFans, but yes to my website. And please, if you have any questions for me or any topics you'd like me to discuss, please let me know at venus@venusohara.org, because I am doing a 30-day challenge and I'm just over halfway. So I've got 14 more days of content to make for you. And yeah, so let me know. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow.